Welcome to another episode of the All Tense Podcast. I'm your co-host, Josh West. With me, as always, Clay Harris. And today, Clay, we're going to take a deeper dive into the proven process. We referenced that as part of the marketing strategy in an earlier episode. And today, we want to talk about EOS's specific proven process that we take with our clients. Clay, talk to me.
You know, when we were going through the series on the VTO and we got to the marketing strategy and we talked about proven process, I think both of us in different parts of that episode expressed that this is like one of our favorite parts because it's the thing where like when it gets done, you're like, oh yeah, right. That's what I've been doing this whole time. It's just like, it feels good to write it down and simplify. It's where all those things kind of come together. Your ability to simplify and put things into a system and all those sorts of things is comes to fruition in the proven process. But we're going to talk about ours because as EOS implementers, not only do we teach people that a proven process is effective and powerful, we have one. And so we follow the EOS proven process. You want me to walk through it like at a high level first or what?
Yeah, let's make sure that people understand what a proven process is.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So proven process, when we teach it is, and I was just teaching about it yesterday, is how we take a client or a prospect from not knowing who we are at all, what their journey is like from learning about us to being onboarded, and then being, and you I'm stealing this from you, Josh, and then turning them to like a lifelong, not just customer, like partner, business partner, right? Like creating a real relationship with them where we kind of grow and succeed together. So from not knowing who we are to being like an essential ingredient in our business partnership, right? And it's right?
Absolutely. Bringing clarity to someone so they understand the timeline and the journey that they're about to go through. And it's clearly articulated. We're going to start here, but here's where we're going, so that they're not left in the lurch blindly, just like, well, I don't know what the next step is. And so bringing that full picture to them so they can fully understand the journey, I think is valuable, not just in our world, but for any business.
For any business. Literally, I was at a restaurant this morning and I was like, when is my check coming? Like, I want to understand what's happening next.
Oh, Clay.
All the time.
I love the fact that because in prepping for this episode, I thought, well, what are some other proven processes that everyone can kind of understand? And one that's universal, it's not even isolated to one restaurant, but a proven process and a very simplified version of that is what we expect when we go to a restaurant. I'm going to go in, I'll be seated, I'll be presented with a menu. I'm going to pick out what I want, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to get my check and I'm going to leave. There, that's your proven process for satisfying my hunger. Done. And everybody understands that. And also, to the extent that anytime you go somewhere and it's a little quirky and it's off and you pay before you order or you get your food and everything, then you have to be told that almost because we're so trained on it. And so people like a process. They like to understand and be told and like have their expectations met. They don't like to guess. And so whenever we're talking to a prospect in any industry, I think it's incumbent to be able to make it clear to them, here's what's about to happen.
That's one side of the coin. People like to know what to expect. The other side of the coin that I think like kind of seals the deal and the proven process is one of my favorites is that also it's it validates you almost immediately, right? Because like when everyone knows what to expect at a restaurant, cool, fine. Like that's, people love knowing what to expect. But if you're out there, you know, I have clients who are professional services firms who do pretty bespoke consulting, or clients who do creative services for large conferences or whatever. And like no one has, you don't go eat at a professional services firm every day, so you don't know what to expect. So when my client can go to their prospect and say like, hey, listen, I know that this is your first time, but it's my like 3,000th time doing this. In fact, I'm so good at it, I've printed it on a piece of paper and I know exactly what your journey is going to look like. Even though you're scared, I've done this before. There's like this psychological trick, right? Of like, is that, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that comes loaded in it's not called the process, it's called the proven process, right? So that harkens to, this is not the first rodeo, and it has proven to precipitate the results that people are after if we will just take this journey, because it's proven. So that's the real catch there.
It's and I was listening to one of the EOS Worldwide resources about proven process, and I think it's Mike Payton, former visionary at EOS Worldwide, right? Mm-hmm. And he says, you know what, like when you print it on nice paper and it's color and people can see that there's like a linearity to it, if that's even a word, they don't even read it, right? Like they just, you see that, like, oh man, he knows what he's talking about, and he's taking the time to make it pretty, and it's like on thick paper. The psychological effect is almost as important as the words that are on it. You know what I'm saying? And like it's just a thing. It's just really interesting, and so. I love, this is like my favorite part of EOS generally, is that we do great work, but like most of the work is kind of in your head, kind of bringing people along and rolling them. It's just so, there's so much there. Every little corner you turn in the EOS, there's another kind of thing to discover. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it definitely aligns with my personality. I like being organized. I like being buttoned up. There's going to be enough surprises in the room from clients as it is. So it's good to, at least have the framework blocked out. Clay, what's the first step in our EOS proven process that we take?
In our EOS process, the first step is a 90-minute meeting. It's we go out there and meet with your leadership team for 90 minutes. And there's 4 things that we do on that day, but it's 90 minutes of, we learn a little bit about you, we give you a little bit of background about ourselves and EOS. We kind of give you the abridged version or the movie version of the book Traction, written by Gino Wickman. So we kind of, quote unquote, open the fire hose of all those tools that are like described in the book. And then at the end of that, we tell you a little bit about what it's like to work with an implementer. And so 90 minutes, not 5 minutes, not 15 minutes, but 90 minutes. There's like kind of an investment that is made by the leadership team just to learn about it. But it's 90 minutes. It's free. And it's pretty educational. And that, I don't know about you, but I always tell folks when we're scheduling 90 minutes that I promise that at the end of that 90 minutes, you'll be ready to run a better business tomorrow, whether we work together or not. But after you finish those 90 minutes, you got some tools and some things to do differently the next time you get behind the desk.
There absolutely is value in just that. And as you stated, it is free. There's no charge for that other than the time investment that all of those leaders are making. We give them copies of the VTO, and certainly a lot of the topics and the tools and disciplines that we cover during that meeting certainly get people's ideas churning, and they'll be thinking about their business and how to improve it while that meeting is occurring. And I think it's also important to recognize that, as you've already held it up, a lot of times people may think that official EOS sessions only happen once they are full day sessions, and we'll talk more about those in some coming episodes. But the 90-minute meeting is your first official EOS session. That is a session in and of itself, and it has, as you've outlined, it has its own specific agenda and objectives, as we always have with our sessions with clients. And so, certainly a critical part that can't be skipped. And occasionally, every once in a while, you may meet an owner who has some challenges and is in a hurry to just get going. Can we just get going? And that first session, well, let's just go ahead and book that one. Clay, if someone wants to skip the 90, do you let them skip it?
Open honest, or I've definitely let people skip it and I've regretted it. Right? Nothing hurts more than the truth, but when I've done that, there's some important things that happen in that 90-minute meeting, which is not just doing a little bit of teaching, not just doing a session. It's really important because the rest of the sessions are full day sessions. The rest of the sessions you're doing hard work. It's not really one-way work. After that first 90, it's two-way work. And everybody's opening up and sharing. And so you got to make sure, the reason we do that 90 minutes and the reason it's free and the reason we try to pack a bunch of content there is because both the implementer and the client have to really feel confident this is a good match. Before we start pulling back the curtains and kind of looking in the corners, right? We got to make sure that we're on the same page. Personality, kind of approach, how you fit in with all the members of the leadership team, not just the owner. You got to make sure it's a good fit because we're going to go to battle together. Like, we're going to go and do the real work together, and we better like each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a lot like having, a short coffee or dinner date before you decide to go on a long weekend together.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. That's right.
Yeah.
It's about to get real. You might want to make sure that you like the person.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Additionally, there's sometimes where, certainly someone will say, well, who should I bring to the 90, right? And the answer is your leadership team. And for our listeners, you may be surprised, or it may be you that when I ask you that, you don't necessarily know who that is. And I had a 90-minute meeting recently where there were 9 people in the room. And it was good to be able to do the 90 with those 9 people, because then I could have a candid conversation with the owner after the fact and say, okay, now who are we really bringing into the room when we get to those full day sessions? Because if we'd skipped the 90 and just moved right into an all day session, and that's everyone's first experience with me and EOS in the room, and there you are for 8 hours, and it's just clown card with 9 other people in the room, probably wouldn't have gone well. So that team got reduced from 9 people in the 90-minute meeting to 3 people on the leadership team starting at the focus day. And that makes for a much better jump start to the implementation, real open and honest conversations being had, and taking those first stabs at structuring the company. But those details we'll save for another time. Clay, what's your experience been transitioning prospects from the 90 into becoming clients and getting in there for a full day session for the focus day?
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, it's a good filtering. The 90-minute meeting is a good way for us to decide whether or not we're all in. All in on EOS, all in on the implementer, all in on the client. All those things have to be right. And when it clicks, you know it, right? There's not a scientific kind of answer to what the right fit is. You just know. And I really enjoy people leaving that 90 with excitement about getting started. And it's important that whether you're running on EOS now or thinking about it or just kind of curious about EOS, it's always good to remind everyone that we start tools first. So in our next episode, we'll come back and talk about the next 3 sessions. And a lot of times I talk with people and they're like, I can't wait to get my vision out of my head onto a piece of paper. And then I got to kind of hit them with, we're going to disappoint you, because the first thing we're doing is we're getting tools installed. We're kind of start building the discipline and accountability into the leadership team, and we implement that first. So we start traction first, vision second. And I always say in the room, and I'm a big boy, I could always lose some weight, but if I just go to the doctor's office and we just have this kind of aspirational discussion around how great my life would be if I weighed 50 pounds less, like, that's cool, but it's not helping me lose weight. So instead the doctor just says, like, let's not worry about the number, just get on the treadmill. So with our clients, we definitely want to paint the picture of what the future looks like, but the first thing we do is we get on the treadmill. And so we'll talk about that in the next episode, but leaving that 90-minute meeting with momentum and ready to like roll up our sleeves and do work is my favorite part about that period in between 90-minute meeting and first focus day, because it's just exciting. It's just exciting. There's nothing more exciting than starting a new project with like real energy.
Absolutely. And for our listeners out there, If you are curious about EOS, don't hesitate. Reach out to an implementer in your area, reach out to Clay and I, book a 90-minute meeting with someone just so you get more information, more detail, and clarity about what that may be like. If it's not for you, that's fine. No harm, no foul. Everyone can part as friends. And if you decide that EOS seems like a great framework for you, but you're just not quite sure that you're clicking with that particular implementer, I promise you they will not be offended. We are all here to help. We're all on the same mission. And any implementer that you talk to, if they're not the one for you, they'll be happy to ask you more questions about who would be a great fit for you. And they can certainly help you find the right implementer for you. So if you're worried about any of those things or any of that is a hesitation for you to learn more, don't let that stop you. Book a 90 with someone.
100%. Well, that's going to be our episode for the day. I'm going to let that be the last nugget. We just want to help. And I'm Clay. He's Josh. We're EOS implementers, and we'd love to chat with you anytime. In the meantime, if there's something that you'd like to hear us talk about on the podcast, drop a comment. Leave a message on LinkedIn. And of course, please rate the meeting. We're going for 10s all the time, wherever you've listened. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye, Josh.
Bye, Clay.